Hello students, how are you all? Welcome to the last class of your HR specialization, that is talent and knowledge management. Today's class is the last class and I'm going to wind up the entire syllabus. And today's topics are what we are going to discuss about the knowledge management, all these things. So let us understand about knowledge management assessment. We already known, isn't it, in greater way about knowledge management. So knowledge is nothing but the pool of information which helps for taking appropriate decisions. To manage appropriately the available information is known as a knowledge management. Then what do you mean knowledge assessment? Now here the assessment is nothing but the evaluate. So whether the available knowledge management tools, isn't it, are really working, in a proper order or not. If at all any changes are required, editing is required. So all these things will be, considered under assessment. So let us see here what are the points going to explain to us. Assessment means to evaluate. So when you can do the evaluation in comparison with other information. So when two employees are there, you are going to evaluate who is efficient by examining them in different directions. When two products are there, you are going to evaluate the quality of the product by subjecting them to different kinds of, tests. So evaluation is nothing but either way, it's a kind of comparison. Knowledge management assessment implies evaluating how the organization manages its knowledge pool. Pool means complete information. So one way the evaluation process takes care of how actually all this available information of the company, organization, in terms of experience, in terms of the skill sets, in terms of what you call other practical special experiences while doing the business, these companies will gain. Like as I already told you, the knowledge will be available in tacit format and as well as what you called explicit format. So knowledge management assessment helps to capture, discover, share, use the knowledge management solutions to the optimum levels. When problem arises, when solution is not available, then the company will face the brunt. So same way, whatever available information is there, whatever experience is there with the employees, whatever knowledge the company gain in various situations, all that information will be kept ready whenever the need arises to utilize that one. So the KM stands here, knowledge management. The knowledge management assessment helps to capture, discover, share, and use the knowledge management solutions to the optimum levels. Knowledge management systems approaches. So these are the very, very important, considerable three variety approaches. There are other so many important approaches are there, but these are all considerable approaches. One is Scandia method, a balanced scorecard method, benchmarking method. So Scandia method, this one is a Swedish company's development. So under Scandia method, one can find various kinds of ratios, various kinds of tools, techniques to measure the quality of the available knowledge. Actually, these set of tools were developed to assess the tourism. So here what is the information? Scandia method is the Swedish insurance company Standard Limited has developed this method to assess tourism. It consists of a variety of tools, ratios, and techniques that can be employed to measure the past, present, and future status of an organization intellectual capital. The next one is the benchmarking. So, what is the benchmarking? This is the one more approach, is defined as a process of measuring the performance of an organization against the best in the class company. As you all know that Apple phones set benchmark in the cell phone industry in terms of software, in terms of what you call physical appearance of the phone, every aspect of that phone you take, all the companies will look forward to reach at least what you call near to the benchmark set by the Apple company. Benchmark is nothing but a kind of standard. So the Apple company set a benchmark. So other what you call cell phone manufacturers like Samsung is there, Nokia is there, isn't it? These people will be trying effortly, putting what you call serious efforts in order to at least reach to near to up to that level of what you call performance. Betting is the process of adopting world-class best practices. So cell phone means Apple. So after that they are going to occupy some other company's positions. So what do you mean by that? Betting is a process of adopting world-class best practices. The best practices of the best in class companies are usually identified by customers or the industrial experts. So what are the tools? What are the best practices practicing by the respective companies? How to find? Nothing but the people, the customers who uses those products. Why the Apple rated as a good phone? Because of feedback given by the customers. Why what to call? Let us take a four-wheeler automobile. Bench cars rated as the topmost cars because of the features and thus luxury that comforts experienced by the customers. The last one is a balance scorecard method. This method was developed by Kaplan and Norton, published article in the Harvard Business Review. HBR, very famous, management journal. This one considered as the topmost journal. So actually, balance scorecard method developed to fulfill few of the unfulfilled gaps by the previous method. What is the previous method? Benchmarking method. So the balance scorecard measures that drive the performance. So here for every level of performance exhibition, a norm will be set. Indirectly that drives that creates a kind of motivation in every branch of what you call the company. The performance measurement process has been converted into strategic management system due to the recent development of the balance scorecard. Balance scorecard is defined as a conceptual framework which is useful for converting the strategic objectives of an organization, intergroup collection of performance indicators, etc. The balance scorecard actually divided into four areas. One is the financial, customer perspective, internal process, learning and growth. So financial, how to mobilize the funds, way to disinvest what to call the funds. So this is a very, very important knowledge for the further growth of the organization. So balance scorecard is going to help to the financial department. For any kind of service or the product, customer perspective is going to be a ad stick. Based upon customer, its feedback, what will be there, changes would be there. So likewise, it is going to help to the marketing area, like internal processes. So within the organization, HR operations would be there, production operations would be there. So these can be handled by means of what you called a balanced scorecard method. Always to develop what is required, learning should be your continuous process. So when acquires this nature, always learning, what will be there? Automatically one can see the development, which is applicable to even for, organizations. They should learn from their failures. From these failures, they need to build the steps to reach to what we call the set goals, nothing but the growth. So balanced scorecard is going to apply in all these what we called assumed 4 important areas. Now we'll discuss about the impacts of assessment, knowledge management assessment. So knowledge management has either direct or indirect impact on the performance of the organization at different levels of management. One cannot see sometimes the knowledge management effect outwardly, but still the betterment can be observed in terms of what we call the performance is considered. Employees' productivity will increase. In production area, economies of scales will be introduced. So mobilizing the funds is going to be very easy. Such a way, if we think, the impacts of the knowledge management assessment can be subsegmented into these following areas. One is the employees, products, processes, and whole organization performance. Let us see in terms of employees how the knowledge management assessment is going to impact. Knowledge management has a considerable impact on the employees of the organization. It enables the employees to acquire knowledge from their co-workers, superiors, and external sources. So a company means group of people will be working. They will be learning so many skills by observing the fellow workers, from the seniors, from the supervisors. What do you call this kind of knowledge as the tacit knowledge? So that is going to be an assessment to respond flexibly to the changing conditions. So it teaches to the employees how to act according to the existing situations. So that means employees will become flexible to be favorable to the change. So the employees will become, more proactive in order to receive the changes whatever going to happen. The best example is the COVID situation. This facilitates the employees in achieving higher levels of job satisfaction through learning, knowledge, skills acquisition. So an employee daily, regularly enhances his skill set, the confidence level will increase. The job satisfaction is also going to increase, which is because of what we call the knowledge management assessment. Assessment of impact on processes. So knowledge management have a significant effect on organizational processes such as marketing, manufacturing, accounting, engineering, public relations. These are all various kinds of interlinked processes if you take any organization. Throughout the organization, length and breadth, the knowledge management is going to cover with its what we call the finest outputs. So, in a nutshell, in a 3-dimension way, the knowledge management assessment is going to impact the organization. So like efficiency, effectiveness, degree of innovation. efficiency, effectiveness, and as well as the degree of innovation. Assessment of impact on products. So generally, knowledge management have significant impact on the products also, like development of value added products and knowledge based products. So physical products would be there. Every time new feature will be added. So by that, customers attraction will increase, sales will increase. Same way software development would be there from what you called IT companies are concerned. Microsoft is there, Wipro is there. They develop softwares. So in both the kinds of what you call the products, physical and as well as the services products, development can be what you called expected by carefully applying the knowledge management assessment. Overall, what do you mean knowledge management assessment? Whatever experience is there with the organization, whatever talent is there with the employees of the organization, carefully applying all that available information whenever need arises. That's it. So in the organization, the knowledge management affect the performance of entire organization either directly or indirectly. We discussed a lot. Directly, effect of knowledge management on the performance of organization can be measured as increased returns and reduced costs. So these are the direct impact one can see in terms of what you called. One can see in terms of increased returns and reduced costs. Indirectly, one can observe the economies of scope and scale competitive advantage as far as the organization is concerned, which is possible appropriate way deployment of the knowledge management assessment things. The final topic, what is that? The knowledge discovery systems. The system that enables the development of new tacit or explicit knowledge either from data and information or synthesis of prior knowledge is referred to as the knowledge discovery systems. System means combination of various activities which should what you call develop a kind of procedure through which one can acquire the explicit and as well as what you call the tacit kind of knowledge, or else a mix. What to call that? The knowledge discovery systems. These systems requires mechanisms, technologies for supporting two knowledge management sub-processes. Following are the sub-processes which helps for the appropriate way maintenance of the KDS knowledge discovery systems. One is a combination and one more is a socialization. These are all two sub-processes. So what is a combination? It helps in discovering new explicit knowledge. So combination sub-process helps in procuring the explicit knowledge. Explicit knowledge means which can be converted into text. That knowledge can be stored, saved for the future purpose. Combination, it helps in discovering new explicit knowledge. What is explicit knowledge? Which can be created into textual form. Storage is possible in terms of what you call compact disk, in terms of pen drives, in terms of books, one can save that information. What is all available software is the best example. Socialization, it helps in discovering new tacit knowledge. The skills which cannot be put in terms of what you call text, but still more powerful skills. These are all what you call that the tacit skills or the tacit knowledge. One cannot learn driving of a car, swimming by reading a book. Practically, one need to experience that situation. One need to play a particular sport through the book. One cannot become expert in that particular sport. Cricket, hockey, whatever you take. What do you call this? Tacit knowledge. Same way in organization, if you take few kind of job roles will be there. So there actually what is required? The tacit knowledge is required. The KDS is going to have these both what you call the kinds of sub processes. One is combination, one more is socialization. So these are the steps before anyone going to apply the KDS. One is understanding the business problem, understanding the data problem, preparing the data for applying the KDS, building and validating the model, evaluating and interpreting, and implementing the model. Understanding the business problem. Here, one wants to know the actual problem, whatever actually existing, in terms of what you call the upcoming troubles, anomalies, by carefully detected with human analysis. Now, understanding the data problem. Here, the main problem would be collection of the data, which is actually going to support the problem whatever has been persisting in the organization. The next step is going to preparing the data. The data whatever has been collected entirely may not be appropriate, may not be suitable to give the right solution the problem whatever has been existing. Some editing processes are required, adjustments are required. What you call that? The preparing the data. So for doing what you call finding the solution, what is required? One model need to be developed, and whether that developed model really explains the solution of what you call the problem whatever has been existing. You call that one as a building and validating the model. So after validating the model, the results whatever are going to be derived really satisfying the what you call the wanted solution of the problem or not. So what you call this? Evaluating and interpreting. The satisfaction level reaches to the set standard, and finally that model will be implemented. What you call that? The implementing the model situation. So what you call this? The knowledge discovery system steps. So what we discussed today? So today we discussed knowledge management assessment. What do we mean knowledge management assessment? And what are the approaches like Scandia method, balanced scorecard method, benchmarking. Now various impacts of knowledge management assessment like employees, products, processes, whole organization performance. Now after that we discussed the KDS. What are the sub-processes? Combination and socialization. Combination useful for explicit knowledge. Socialization useful for tacit knowledge. And what are the steps under KDS system? Understanding the business problem, understanding the data problem, preparing the data and validating the data with a model, and evaluating the results of that model, satisfied, and finally implementing that model. So here finishes your entire syllabus. If at all any doubts are there, please raise your doubts in the WhatsApp. Okay. Thank you very much for supporting me. Wishing you all of you good luck. Thank you so much.